A pleasant morning, my dear beloved students. Welcome back to the contemporary world. Today, we will talk about a world of ideas. And our topic is about global media cultures. We have two learning outcomes from this topic. First is to analyze how various media drive various forms of global integration. And second, explain the dynamic between local and global cultural production. Let us begin by appreciating the role of media to society. It is human voice. Language helps humans to communicate. Travels only a short distance. No permanence. Cannot be repeated. Media enable the human voice and ideas to travel through space and time. Allowed humans to share information across the globe, and enabled humans to pass knowledge across generations. Various forms of media technology were developed due to economic, military, political, and social needs. In turn, media technology has influenced and shaped human life through generations. Here is the evolution of the different forms of media. It started with script, record, and preserve information. Then, we have the printing press. It is cheap, fast, copying and circulation of information, one-way communication, limited reach, limited to one language, thus forced common knowledge and shared identity. And after printing press, we have the so-called modern technology, telegraph, telephone, radio, film, television, cable TV, and digital media. We have massive breadth and depth of reach, global penetration, fast and real-time dissemination of information, interactive, powerful medium in shaping social, cultural, political, and economic change. The radio is the earliest form of media that had massive breadth and depth of reach. Radio was developed alongside the telegraph and telephone in the late 1890s. Radio brought music and news in the homes. For most of the 20th century, radio was the only means of media that reached remote villages. In USA, radio was mainly supported by advertisers, while in Europe, radio was mainly supported by the government. Radio was developed alongside the telegraph and telephone in the late 1890s. The radio brought music and news in the homes. For most of the 20th century, radio was the only means of media that reached remote villages. In the USA, The radio was mainly supported by advertisers, while in Europe, the radio was mainly supported by the government, as I said a while back. The radio played a key role in many socio-political campaigns and upheavals during the 20th century. The radio became a global media. Some argue that the introduction of television was the defining moment in globalization. The world became a global village because of television. With cable television, it became an even more powerful medium, catering to a whole range of global interests, such as politics, sports, entertainment, arts, history, travel, nature, adventure, religion, food, and education. The television is considered the most powerful mass media invented. It brought the world into many homes all over the globe. It captured narratives of social, political, economic issues through the news. It was a medium for cultural exchange through music, film, and documentaries. Digital media is currently the most significant media of influence to globalization. The computer, cellular phone, and the internet are the usual representations of digital media. Unlike television and print, which are one-way forms of communication, digital media provides interactive communications. The computer, cellular phone, and internet are platforms which are instrumental in shaping the economy, migration, culture, arts, fashion, music, education, politics, and other aspects of human life all over the world. E-commerce is becoming a major form of business. Amazon, Alibaba, and Lazada are some examples of startup companies which began operations from home garage but have grown into successful global e-commerce platforms. Micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs like farmers and fishermen are now able to engage in trade and gain access to microfinancing using their mobile phones because of digital media. MSMEs are now integrated into the web of global economy. Social media is able to spark collective public opinion and action. During election campaigns, candidates have used social media to appeal for public votes. When it comes to education, digital media has rapid change of knowledge through open universities, massive open online courses and webinars. Search engines such as Google has made it easy to search for information in the internet. The internet is helping democratize the access to affordable learning. So my dear students, when we say massive open online courses, it has something to do with the courses offered by the distinguished universities across the globe. And you can study the course you want there for free or to pay some amount of dollars. But you have to grab the opportunity that massive open online courses provide to the people across the globe, because you can study whatever courses you want there online for free. So, in order to avail the free courses, you're going to apply for financial aid, just like in Coursera. So try to explore Coursera because it is one of the living, massive open online courses site that provides financial aid for you to learn the course for free with international certification. Moving forward, there is now a wealth of exchange and fusion of culture, fashion, art, and music never experienced before. Digital media has allowed artists, musicians, and designers to transcend borders and gain global audience. Migration or relocation to other countries is becoming less of a concern to many because digital media enables migrants to be connected to family and friends back home in real time due to many modes of digital media. Cultural production is defined by Chandler and Munday as the social process involved in the generation and circulation of cultural forms, practices, values, and shared understandings. Culture is being produced every day. We use, adapt, and create culture in unique ways in our daily lives, though we may not be conscious of it. Examples: the way we dress, the way we communicate, the way we interact with others, our verbal and body language, and our forms of entertainment. To become an active producer of culture, however, is a conscious decision. It challenges the norm, for better or worse. It will entail identifying for whom, for what purpose, what changes, and implications will the new culture bring about to society. Active cultural production entails constant change, reshaping, redefining, challenging current forms, norms, and values. Here are some examples of cultural production. We have DIY, or the so-called do-it-yourself, alternative art and music, fusion cuisine, avant-garde art, improvisational theater. There are two conflicting views on the impact of globalization to cultural production. We have the negative and positive. First, let's talk about the negative aspects. Cultural production is threat to local economy, disadvantageous to poor countries and small enterprises, dominance of developed countries and big corporations, destroys traditional culture, beliefs, value system, loss of cultural identity, and forces uniformity of cultures and experience. When it comes to positive aspects, cultural production expanded global market opportunity, exposure to other cultures enriches the local culture. It drives economic growth in the poor parts of the world, and it increases knowledge and understanding of people around the world. Interdependence of local and global cultures. While local and global cultures are always positioned as opposite, the reality is that they are interdependent. One cannot exist without the other. One is always in relation to the other. Formation of identities. Some argue that the localness or identity of the local is recognized through its reflection in the global culture. In other words, the global culture acts like a mirror which enables the distinction of a local culture as a separate entity versus other cultures. For example, food is part of the culture of many countries. The French in particular take pride in their cuisine. Some of them are concerned with the increasing presence of American fast food chains, which they consider to be of lower quality and does not belong to the French culture. The French realize their identity by recognizing the difference of the French cuisine and what distinguishes it through a comparison with global food culture that has dominated the world. Globalization and fragmentation. Ferret 2016 argued that what we see as global culture in many metropolises is actually a mosaic of multiple local cultures present in one location. He called this globalization of fragmentation. It is clear that these representations of the different cultures cannot be the total nor authentic representations of those local cultures. They are merely facades. For example, in many big cities, there are enclaves of different cultures like the Chinatown, the India market, the Koreatown, and the American Shopping Center, but they do not capture in totality the spirit of their respective cultures. People's choice. Cultural change and evolution is inevitable, and digital media is further accelerating it. But at the end of the day, cultural changes are driven by the preferences and values of the consumers. At the end of the day, cultural changes are driven by the preferences and values of the consumers. Thus, cultural production will inevitably be a reflection of the people's choice. Here are some important takeaways from this lesson. Media allowed humans to share information across the globe. The radio, television, and digital media are the most significant forms of media technology that influence global integration in different aspects such as economy, politics, and culture. Cultural production refers to the social processes involved in the generation and circulation of cultural forms, practices, values, and shared understandings. There are different points of view regarding the dynamics between local and global cultural production. There are positive and negative points of view, but some argue that they are not opposites but are inherently independent. Cultural change and evolution is inevitable, and digital media is further accelerating it. At the end of the day, cultural production will depend on the preferences and values of the consumers. Cultural production will be a reflection of the people's choice. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe for more educational video updates. Have a nice day.